Hi there, welcome back. I think my repair pile is shrinking a little bit. So we have a couple Stihl 201s. I'm going to start with that one right now. And if that doesn't take too long, I'm going to go to that one next. A 170 for a bar and chain. I'll probably nail that one off right after. 291 that doesn't run right. 261 with a blown up clutch. 291 for a bar nut. TS 360 fuel coming out the muffler. And a two-person Hornet that hasn't ran in 75 years. That's here for a tune-up and a sharpen. He has some limbing to do next weekend. So we'll start with the 201C that's missing a handle. I'll see you at the workbench. Hi there. Welcome back to my workbench. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. Today in the bench, we have a Stihl MS201 rear handle. So the 201s come two ways: rear handle and top handle. So this has no rear handle. I had one of these in the showroom new, so I thought I'd just grab it to bring it out to show you. Typically, tree services buy these saws. Government agencies, like who owns this one, they aren't allowed to buy saws without that rear handle, just due to safety. So they only buy the 201 rears. So I'll get that out of the way. I just wanted to show you what that looks like in case you haven't seen one before. So this saw works in a bucket up in the air. It gets dropped, it falls, they get run over, they fall out of trucks, all kinds of things happen to these. So this saw took a fall. I don't know from how high up, but high enough to bust the handle off of it. The worker who dropped it off said the saw was running fine before the fall. So if we put a new handle on it, it should just fire up and run like it did before. So we're going to throw a new handle on it, and we're also going to plug it into the computer. This is an M-tronic chainsaw, so I think it'd be interesting for us to collect the data off it, see how many hours are on it, how many times it started, and hopefully it runs for us. So come along, let's get started. Well, here we are with a Stihl MS201 rear handle that's missing a handle. The first thing I'm going to do is plug this saw in, but I have to get to the spark plug to do that. The spark plug is behind there. So let's start taking this thing apart. This saw has a captive bar nut, so that bar nut's going to stay with that clutch cover. And that and the handle all come off in one piece. In the last few videos, we've seen the odd outboard clutch on a Husqvarna chainsaw. And I told you that most Stihls have the inboard clutch. Here is the exception. So this saw has the outboard style clutch. On these MS200s, which is the 200 is the saw that came out before this one, the MS201s, we replace a lot of clutch springs and a lot of clutches. So if you're ever out buying a used one of these, you'd want to look that clutch over well. I'm going to pull the bar and chain off this. So I've got access to my spark plug now. I'm going to pop that little cap off. One of my computer plugins is behind that. I'm Okay, we've got access to our plug, our coil wire, and our little computer plug-in right there. So let's go ahead and plug this thing into life support. Let's see what the computer can tell us about this saw. So this unit has 198 hours, 32 minutes, and 29 seconds of runtime. And this saw has successfully started 2,888 times. As far as its last service, the computer tells me the saw has never been plugged in. Now, that doesn't mean it's never been serviced. It's probably been to dealers. The saw's probably been here before, just no one's ever plugged in for any reason. We don't plug every chainsaw in that comes here, every M-tronic chainsaw. Like when something comes in for a handle, you throw a handle on it, it might just go back out. I'm doing this to show you guys, and I'm looking for, you know, some interesting crazy numbers. The biggest I've seen so far is I did a 500i video about a month ago, and that saw had 12,000 starts on it. So it's some interesting stuff that I'm curious about too, and I'm just taking a bit more time to do it now. The computer also tells me that this saw has no running issues. So let's unplug it here and get to work. Let's start putting the new handle on this saw. First thing I have to do is, there's still part of the old handle in there. I got to get that all cleaned out of there. I just used this pick and just kind of loosened it up. And there it is. I've also got to pull that piece, take this screw out and remove that piece before we can carry on here. Okay, so to make this repair, I'm going to need a few new parts. I've got my new handle here, which I keep these in stock. There's the part number. Need a new spring. And I need a piece of hardware. I hope I have it. I need one of those. This is a pretty neat bin of hardware. When stuff gets low, I just refill it. You can order this bin from Stihl. And there's the part number for it. Just all the common stuff. This kit, and when you order this, it comes with 10 of everything that's listed on there. And the case, Canadian list price on this is $32.59. That's pretty good. If you've ever been to a Stihl dealer to buy one piece of hardware, it probably terrified you what the cost was. So for 30 some dollars, pretty handy. Well, let's put this thing back together. We've got our new spring and that piece screwed back on. I'm going to put the handle kind of into position. And then we'll slip this piece in its hole just like that. And if we go back over here, we'll put that screw back in. So this saw was only dropped off because this handle was snapped off. But when these guys have a saw here, I like to pull this top cover off, just have a quick look underneath, make sure everything looks okay. I'm just going to give that a clean out before it leaves. When you see all this burn looking stuff on the side of one of these, that's usually because a spark arrestor is missing, and it is missing. So the exhaust is coming out this hole where the spark arrestor was, and it's like literally burning that plastic. I don't think they're supposed to run these saws without a spark arrestor. They are out in the woods with these, in the trees. I will have to order that because I don't have it here and replace it for them before this leaves. So if you have an MS201, probably best to leave the spark arrestor in it. The exhaust is supposed to come out back here, not right there. Some chainsaws, you can take the spark arrestors out and you won't cause damage like this, but not these ones. There's the clutch cover we took off of it. So the exhaust is supposed to come out this hole, but you can see what's been going on here. Someone probably just took it out and flicked it off into the trees. We're gonna get a new one and flick it right back in there. It'll take me a few days to get that spark arrestor, but I have the new saw here that I showed you earlier. I'm just gonna pull it out of the new saw, and then when it comes in, I'll just put it back in this. That way I can get these guys going today. There's what it looks like. There, it's back the way it should be. Let's just pull the spark plug out of this. I just spoke to the lead guy and he said replace the air filter, the spark plug. This thing's heading out on a helicopter adventure, so replace what's needed. So that spark plug is carboned up. That air filter is filthy. New air filter. There's the part number. New spark plug, NGK CMR 6H. Gapped properly. When I took the plug out of it, it didn't feel very tight in there, and it wasn't. The gasket wasn't crushed. When you put a new spark plug in a saw, you'll be tightening it and you'll feel it tighten down, but then you got another half turn or so to crush that gasket down. And actually, the spark plug box does have instructions on it. This saw isn't getting the deluxe spa treatment. I just threw a little bit of compressed air on it and get this thing ready to go. I could spend all day working on this saw and make you a 3-hour video. AV mounts are a bit loose. They're running it on the winter snowflake mode. They probably don't realize it or even know that's there. This is a saw that would get passed around a crew of people, not just one person handling it or taking care of it. So it just doesn't get taken care of. Little bits when it's at a dealer, maybe. So we got a new spark plug in, spark arrestor replaced, new air filter. I'll put the little cap back on there. Before I put the bar and chain back on this, I'm going to take it outside and just make sure that it does run. It did take a big fall, so you never know. Make sure there's some fuel in it. Yeah, she's full of fuel. Should we look at it? Yeah, okay, let's look at it. Okay, clean container. There's a little bit of dirt in the tank. Nothing unusual. The fuel looks good and smells good. Just a bit of dirt in it. Place it with new orange one. I'll put their fuel back in it. Most of what was in it just stayed in the bottom of the container there. Yep, lots of bar oil. All right, stop cleaning, Erica, and let's take this thing outside and see if it'll fire up for us. I'll meet you out there. Well, there you go. Even after a fall from the bucket truck, the saw still runs. Amazon driver was just here and brought me something. A little gift. Somebody sent me something. This is going to be so helpful when I'm making these repairs. I can look into the crystal ball and know exactly what the problem is. Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much. It's going to sit on the shelf behind me. I'll probably use it every single day. So while running it, this AV mount right here, it is in poor condition, and actually it's broken, I think. So We're going to replace that while the saw is on the bench. Those two little ones, those are a T20. That was a T27 I just took out. I couldn't make them all the same size. So that is bent, wore out, and broken. Time for a new one. Here's the new one. Annular buffer. There's your part number. This is for rear handle 201s. Top handles have a different AV mount back there. Let's go ahead and throw it in. I think we can throw the bar and chain back on this. We'll take it outside, fire it up again. If all is good, I will go grab the other 201 in lineup. It belongs to the same company, and get started on it. Okay, what do you think? Put that bar and chain back on. Let's go outside. I'll see you out there. Well, there you have it. This little Stihl MS201 rear handle starts excellent, runs excellent, and is oiling, even after falling out of a tree or a bucket truck, whatever it fell out of. All I know was it had a long fall. It came in here with the handle busted off of it, so we replaced that handle and a couple little pieces that were missing, a screw and that AV spring down there. We also did a little bit of maintenance to it, a new air filter, a new spark plug, a new fuel filter, and replaced a worn out AV mount on the back end of it here. So I think this saw is ready to head back out to do some tree work. I have another one of these in lineup. I'm going to get started on it next. But first, I'm going to go grab a coffee. If you find any value in my content, maybe you just find it entertaining, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps me, it helps the channel, And to all of you that have subscribed already, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.